The people of Greenland are heading to the polls to choose their next parliament in what could be a pivotal vote for the Danish territory. Independence from Denmark remains a contentious issue, as well as Donald Trump's threats to take over the island. Locals say they're afraid of becoming pawns in a much larger geopolitical game.
An election campaign like no other, and the stakes couldn't be higher.
We don't want to be Danes, we don't want to be Americans, we want to be Greenlandic. And of course, it is the Greenlandic people who decide their future.
An autonomous Danish territory of just 57,000 people trying to do just that, determine its own future.
Right now it's just dependent on Denmark and the money we're getting from there. We could be more independent economically before thinking about getting independent in Greenland.
It is an opportunity to be independent and to vote.
Greenland is the world's biggest island. Its towns and settlements are scattered along the coast, including the capital Nuuk. It's located between the US, Canada, the European Union and Russia, and it's on the shortest route between the European part of Russia and the US. That's why the US built one of its most important radar stations here, Pidufik Space Base. US President Donald Trump has made no secret of his desire for Greenland, which also possesses a wealth of natural resources, including minerals and rare earths.
But we need it really for international world security, and I think we're going to get it. One way or the other, we're going to get it.
That's concerning politicians and their supporters from all parties in Greenland.
It's like he says, we're going to take over no matter what. But we're a democratic country, we're free people, so it's worrying.
We don't want to be under the US government. We want to be an independent land.
Denmark has already recognized Greenland's right to independence at a time of its own choosing. But as concerns over foreign interference increase, the island's future looks increasingly uncertain.
And I can now speak to our correspondent Jack Parrock, who has been reporting for us from Greenland in recent weeks. He's joining us from Brussels today. Jack, you spoke with people on the ground there. What did they tell you what they want for their country?
It's a really interesting situation around this election because of Donald Trump's interest and saying that the US is going to take over Greenland. For Greenlanders, for decades now, the conversations have been around independence from Denmark, what that means, how quickly it should happen. And most of the main political parties, those that are in power and the main opposition, have all been to different and varying degrees in favour of independence and what that means. And that's what Greenlanders have been voting on. Now there's this new question of working with the United States or being more pro the United States, and that's bringing in a whole different element into the elections because the lead opposition party is seen as more pro-US. So would a vote for them mean potentially opening the door to be taken over by the United States? That's what voters in Greenland are thinking.
Now, could you tell us a bit more about the main parties on the ballot paper and what their promises are?
Yeah, so Greenland only has 31 MEPs, despite half of the population in Greenland working for the government. Now, the Ataqatigiit party, which is of Muta Egede, the current prime minister, it's a left-leaning party, pro-independence as well, but wants to do it relatively slowly. We saw in the report he was stood next to the Danish prime minister. They want good relations with Denmark. But what they've also done is prevented new mining licenses, which is something something that has angered the United States. They've put a block on a lot of the mining. Now, the Siumut Party, they've been in coalition with Muta Edgar's party. They are also pro-independence. It looks like the incumbent Lead Party is going to be probably returned as the biggest in this election, bearing in mind there's only 57,000 people. So this is a very, very local, internal political situation which you see in Greenland. People really know each other. They're bouncing off each other around Nuuk. But the party that everybody's sort of looking at in this election is the Nalarak Party. This is led by Pelle Broborg, who sits in his office and does lots of live streams on the internet for people to join and discuss with him. It's also supported by Kupanuk Olsen. She has become very famous in the last few weeks. She's running for these elections. She is an influencer, has over 300,000 followers on Instagram, over 500,000 on TikTok, and does videos about what's going on in Greenland and what Greenland means for other people. Now, they're expected to do quite well, but this is the party that has been seen as in favour of collaborating more and opening the door to the United States. So some of the voters that are concerned about the mining, for instance, they're worried that this party, if they were returned into Parliament in a big way, could open the door to big US companies going in there. This is on top of Trump saying that he wants to take over Greenland as a state of the United States anyway.
DW's Jack Parrock there. Thank you very much, Jack.